guys, it's Miss Cunningham, and I'm going to go over how to put your webcasts all together in Windows Movie Maker. Okay, obviously the first thing you're going to need to do is to open up Windows Movie Maker, and we're going to be using Windows Movie Maker 2.6. A couple things to point out. One, at the bottom we have our timeline, which will show us the order in which our video is going to appear. Off to the left, we have the tasks that need to be completed. So we need to capture our video first, then step number 2 is we edit our movie, and then finally step number 3, we finish our movie. Okay, so first we're going to start by importing the different elements that we want in our movie. So I'm going to import my video, and I have to go to my folder, my webcast folder that we created, and I have to get the videos that I want. Okay, now what I did is I went ahead and renamed all my videos so that I wasn't confused when I got to this point. So, and if you were like me, it took several tries to get exactly what you wanted. So once I figured out exactly the ones I wanted, I only kept the ones I wanted and renamed them appropriately. So I've got my introduction. I'm going to hold my control key down and get the other elements as well. I'm going to get down my closing, which is my last avatar. And then I did my teaching element in 2 different parts. So I've got my teaching part 1 and my teaching part 2. So I'm going to import all of them, and then they all appear in my collection area. Okay, now if I want to see everything I did, I actually have to go to collections, and then the collections will show me everything I have in here. I've got closing, introduction, teaching, and teaching. So we're going to start with my introduction. So I'm going to click on introduction, and I'll just drag him down because I know that I want him first. And then I'm going to go to teaching part 1, and finally teaching part 2, which looks like it was so long it did 2 different components, so I need to drag those down as well separately. All right, and then finally my closing. So I'm going to drag my closing down. All right, so I have my different elements in my video. Now you guys will also have an actual picture, so be mindful that yours is going to be slightly different than mine. Okay, now that I have all of my videos imported, I can start editing my movie a little bit. So I'm going to go down to step 2, and I'm going to expand that menu. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is probably add in my title. So I'm going to go to Make Titles or Credits. It's going to take a second, but then it'll show me all the options that I can use for titles and credits. So I can add a title at the beginning, a title before the selected clip, a title on the selected clip, after, or credits. Right now my selected clip, actually I don't have one, so I'm going to select my introduction. So I can click just a title right on my introduction, but I kind of don't want to do that. I want it to be its own screen. So title before the selected clip. Okay, so I'm going to add a title at the beginning of my movie. So I'm going to click on Add Title at the beginning, and I'm just going to say Introduction to Windows Movie Maker 2.6. And then it'll give me a preview right here. Now you'll see that this is kind of on the top half of the screen. If I want anything on the bottom half of the screen, maybe by Miss Cunningham, that will appear as well. And it'll be just a little bit smaller. You can change the text font and the color. So if you want your font to be anything really, I'm going to change mine to, let's see, oh that looks terrible. Let's change it to Impact. And then I can change my size. I can increase it. I can make it bold if I want, left align, right align, middle, basic stuff. I can also change my title animation. And there's several options. There's titles that are 1 line, and you'll see all the options for them. And then there's titles that are 2 line. They can fly in and they can fly out to the right. Notice it kind of fades. You can do a sports scoreboard, an exploding outline, which I'm going to just stick with that. I kind of like that. Okay, and then if you want to add in, or when you are ready to add in your credits, you're going to click on Make Titles or Credits, and we're going to add credits at the end of the movie. Okay, so at this point you would say just a nice little message at the top like, thanks for watching, and then you're going to add in your credits. If you have used any websites, you need to indicate the website right here. And then also whatever music you're using. So I'm going to use Ants Marching, and that is by Dave Matthews Band. And that is my intro song. My closing song is going to be See the World, and that is by Gomez. Okay, and then the same way you can add in all of the color animations and all of that good stuff. I'm just going to roll with what I have because it matches. It'll automatically match what I've already chosen. So I'm going to say done and add to the movie. So it puts that in at the bottom. Okay, we're almost done. We're going to add in some transitions, and we're also going to add in a little bit of music. So let's go to add, view video transitions. And this is how you go from one slide to the next slide. These are very similar to the ones that are in PowerPoint transitions, so it doesn't really matter what you want to choose. I like to keep it consistent, but you're welcome to change it up. So I'm going to choose Inset Up Left, and if you kind of want to see what that looks like, you can see my transition right there. And then I'm going to add that in between each transition. And then finally my closing. Okay, last step that we're going to do is we are going to insert our music. So you'll need to go to Show Timeline to be able to insert your music. You'll see that we've got our main category up here, and it'll show you the length exactly of every element. In fact, my video right now is 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And then I'm going to add in some music. So to add in some music, I need to import into Collections my music file. So your music file should be saved in your Webcast folder as well. So please go and find that. Okay, and there is Ants Marching, and there is See the World. So I'm going to import both of those. And they are showing up in a different collection. So I will have to now be able to drag these down, and I choose where I want them to go. Now mine is an entire song, so you notice mine goes throughout more than enough of the video. So remember, we can only use 30 seconds, so you have to be kind of mindful when you're doing this what 30 seconds you want. I'm just going to use the first 30 seconds, or roughly. I think it's got this drum part in the beginning. In fact, I'm gonna not even hardly use 30 seconds. I'm just gonna be able to use however long my intro is. I'm gonna drag it down, and you can see I'm dragging it to about where my title is. Okay, so then of course I want my voice to take over and to teach the entire part. And then finally I'm gonna drag in my last music, and I want it to be all the way back here where my title is, and I'm just going to drag it out a bit. And then you've got to trim your clips so you don't have more than 30 seconds and violate copyright laws. And we don't really want to watch the rest of that anyway. So I'm going to drag it out about right here. And then that should get me finished with all the components of my video. Okay, at this point you're going to want to preview your video just to make sure it's working. So you'll need to I'll usually go back to storyboard, and I can click on the first one. The preview screen is right here, so you can just hit play and then let it run through just to make sure everything is okay. Okay, now when you're actually previewing it, you may notice that your music is a lot louder than your talking. So you want your volume level to be pretty consistent. You don't want somebody to be blown away in the beginning by a song, but then barely be able to hear your voice talking. So I'm going to be really careful and I'm going to edit my audio music. It's pretty easy to do. You just right click on the audio music that you want to edit. You can mute it if you want. You can have it fade in, fade out. And in fact, I'm going to have mine fade out. But you can also edit the volume. So my volume level before I edited it was pretty high. So I'm just going to pull it down. And it really is just going to be up to you how you need to adjust your volume level. Again, consistency is really the key when it comes to volume. So make sure you do both, the beginning and the end sound, and then you're good to go. The last thing you'll need to do is finish your movie. And for this part, so you can upload it to YouTube, you need to save it to my computer. And it's going to compile everything together. Call it Webcast. And make sure you put it in the right folder, which is your Webcast folder. This is why we put everything together in the same folder. That way when it pulls everything, it's going to pull it correctly and it won't be confused and try and find some things. So I am going to put it in my video Webcast folder and just let it choose best quality for playback. You'll see that it's pretty big. My movie is going to be 28.39 megabytes. And then just let it. And that should do it for Windows Movie Maker. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and let me know. Good luck.